Hello, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 31 of the VR Inside podcast. This is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show that is live streamed every Saturday on Nathies YouTube channel. You can tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, and 9 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up with the whole show as I re-upload it every Sunday to my own YouTube channel, Virtual Reality Oasis. Or check out the audio-only version, which is available on Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and on iTunes. If you enjoy the audio version, please leave us a review on iTunes or on SoundCloud. That will really, really help us out. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback during the show, please put them in the chat. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can. So if you're new to the show, let me introduce you to the gatekeepers of VR. And first up, he likes to become a plumber in VR, but of course won't be able to help you fix your leaky pipes. It is, of course, Nathie. How you doing, dude? You all right?
Yes, I'm doing fine, and yeah, I am Super Mario in VR as well. That's the Oasis. You can be whoever you want to be, right? So that's the magic of the metaverse, the Matrix, the Oasis.
That was amazing.
So can.
What did you eat, Nathie? What did you eat?
Yeah, I want some of what he's having.
Dude, I got inspired by the Ready Player One movie. I went
Okay.
twice, okay, and I want to go an extra time. It's such an addicting movie. I'm fanboying here. I mean, a fanboy recognizes a hater, right? So I'm.
So next up, this guy will show you the inner thoughts of an ape. He just loves to monkey around. It is, of course, RowdyGuy. How you doing, man?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, I had a lot of fun playing that one as well. You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Like, I do love monkeying around a lot.
It's your favorite thing.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
Nice, man, nice. So next up, he likes to go fast and put the pedal to the metal. It is our resident Twitch streamer, of course, Zimtok5. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Hey, Mike, I'm good. Spent my morning building a fence because my feckin' monster dog is trying to play escape. So
Wow.
we keep it's an arms race, you know. It's just more slats of wood, more things, more just freaking wire. Yeah.
Is she jumping over it then, or is she just like digging under it, or what's she doing?
It's like feckin' what's that film with red in it? Redemption. Not Redemption.
I have no idea what you're talking about right
there's
now.
a guy called Red, and they're in a
And
prison.
there's a dog in it?
Pokemon.
There's no dog. There's no dog.
So what relevance has this got to your dog? I'm intrigued.
Because it's like The Great Escape. I'll just say The Great Escape. Feck it, I'll say The Great Escape. Someone's gonna get that, and then I'll be happy. But yeah, she tunnels, she burrows, she jumps. This dog
You
knows
should
how to.
electrify the fence. They only try
You
that
can't do
once.
that, Rowdy. You can't do that.
Or you could build like a Berlin Wall again, like a
No, we don't want to do that either.
Okay, Feck!
with
Jesus,
cameras on it,
World War
and,
III
like,
starting
guards
right
and stuff,
now.
And
I like that
that
idea.
dog will never go anywhere.
Electrocute
Wow.
my dog, persecute my.
Like, I tried to, like, you know, be like in the voice of the monkey and try to like voice what the monkey was saying. It's a pretty interesting title. It's something that I have not tried before, in a way that, you know, you need to climb a lot and you need to like do all those like monkey business. I tried to do it in like a funny way, of course, because that's kind of the style that I'm going for. But it is a pretty serious game. I did not expect it to be graphically of that quality, but I do have to say that after 20 minutes, I kind of like was done with the title. It was just like, as soon as it turned into like a shooter, it kind of lost my interest because there was nothing else more to do it than just to shoot stuff. I did like the beginning of it, like the entrance into the, what is it, the facility, I guess, into the facility, and then like you get like that brand on your hand, and you know, those kind of things I did enjoy. But after that, kind of turned a little bit boring.
Because I saw a bit of your video and you were playing it out like it was like an ape going on a holiday, but he'd almost like gone on holiday to the wrong place.
Well, basically, because the ape, I called him Chewbacca. The ape was called Chewbacca. So I was constantly saying, you know, what are you doing to Chewbacca? You know, like this is not the agreement that we have. We were planning to go on a nice holiday. You know, this is not the resort. These monkey girls don't look anything like the girls in the brochure. I was like messing around with stuff like that, like where are my bananas, and you know, just I was pretending that the entire facility was one big entertainment park. Yeah. Which was fun to do actually, because it made the game actually more interesting as soon as we got to the shooter part. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a fun video to watch. Definitely.
Thanks.
So what about you, Zim? What have you been up to this week, mate?
Couple of things. Mostly finishing off old work. So Wilson's Heart is a game that I've spent the best part of a year working my way through and finally beating. So I'm happy about that. So finally beat Wilson's Heart. That was the big one for me. For anyone who doesn't know, it's an Oculus exclusive, and it's black and white is probably the main thing. So it's a very noir setting, and pacing in the game is really weird. Like, it's so well designed. You can tell it's been put together by artisans and all that, but I have to ask myself, like how fun was it? You know, like from start to finish. Like that's the problem I have. Like, it's a great story. The art style is fantastic. A lot of the mechanisms are good. The locomotion kind of is not very good because having to point to a node and kind of teleport there is very similar actually to the Apes game in that respect, where you're on node-based teleportation, even if there's locomotion in between. Like, I'm just not okay with that. It's just
makes it very linear, right?
Yeah, it just ruins like what I said about the Apes game, because I played that as well. It just spoils its own flow. Like it had the same problems that Mirror's Edge on PC had some years ago, which is that you have this beautiful fluid mechanic, and if you know how to use that mechanic, it was great. You felt like Superman. But if you didn't, it was just like like you just kept stopping. And it was the same thing with the Apes game. Like my reaction to that one was very colorful. It was.
We'll come to that later.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later.
But
I think that was pretty much it. Some scary games as well in there, but.
We're talking about Wilson's Heart because I played it a while ago as well, and I did enjoy it. But like you say, there was bits of it that weren't so enjoyable, like the node-based teleportation. I thought the puzzles were kind of nice, but there were some bits in it that was so frustrating, and it was mainly to do with like little mini boss fights.
Yeah.
There was ones where like monsters were spawning out of like sludge, and you had to electrify the sludge or something similar to that to kill them.
Yeah. So you did finish it then. You finished it.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. And
Good.
if you got it wrong, like you just had to start that whole bit over again. It was just like so tedious. Overall, it was kind of cool.
The voice acting in that game,
was very good.
Really nicely done.
The characters were good too.
Yeah. And because I didn't play the full game, I played like an episode just to see what it was about, and I did enjoy it, except for the locomotion part. But that monkey, that little
teddy bear,
like that freaked me out like so much. Especially the part where very in the beginning where you need to like run away from it. Man, like that really freaked me out. Even though it's not that scary, but the way it's like played with the sound, and you know what is happening behind that glass where he's like stabbing the woman. That freaked me out there. Like, oh man.
Like, the thing I have to say though, it changes as it's going along, like quite a bit. It makes a couple of really interesting pivots. Like, so from a story perspective, if you were looking for a story game and you can kind of hang in with the pacing, the puzzles aren't that bad. They're just a little bit contorted and annoying. In certain places, it's like you'll have 3 teleport points, and then they'll disappear 2 of them, and then there's one you've got to find in your like 360. And you're like, where am I going next, or what's the thing I do to escape from this bad guy coming at me? So there's bits like that that are just really like knock your head against the wall. But it's not as bad as the other big puzzly game that I'm playing, which is Abduction, which is like you don't even have a feckin' clue how to solve the puzzle. It'll be about connecting different worlds in bits and pieces. So that one's like Monkey Island level terror from a puzzle perspective. So I don't know. But
you're still playing that now?
I'm still playing it through. Yeah, still playing it through. Abduction is fucking awesome, but it is long. I'd say when I'm done with it, I'll have done 30, 40 hours easy.
Wow, nice. You're getting a lot of gameplay for your money there, but do you say it's quite frustrating as well, right?
Yeah, the puzzles are feckin' hard, but actually I just upgraded my rating on the game to buy because it is feckin' worth it for the beautiful vistas. And what I'd recommend is if you're not too much of a puzzle person, just follow a guide. It's still feckin' worth it. It's bloody awesome. And just, you know, if you get stuck, just go back to the guide and do your way that way. Because these missed games
that's the only annoying
hard.
thing. Like, if the puzzles are so hard that I can't solve them, I always think there's something wrong with the game.
Yeah, nothing wrong with you, Rowdy.
It's a bug in the game. It's a bug in the game. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
it could be a design flaw if you can't find the solution, and it's very like I played puzzle games that weren't invented the right way, and then I got totally lost. So sometimes you can blame it on the game, but mostly it's just your brain.
I don't know.
Not
Look,
working.
the reason I said Monkey Island was, and spoilers here for anyone who's interested in, and again, I'll use the hand thing for our visual listeners. So hands up while I'm spoiling, and I'll drop it when I'm finished. Monkey Island had a puzzle where you had to burn a map off of a guy's back. It was tattooed on his back, and then peel his skin off. Who the feck is gonna think about that? I don't know.
The funny thing, I got a funny anecdote about that actually, is that I played that game when I didn't have internet at home yet. So I had no way of looking up these kind of things.
Yeah.
So I was playing that game, and I had to after 2 weeks, I had a friend of mine where I would go and visit. So I had to wait for 2 weeks up until I could look something up about how I should do it. So it took me 2 weeks looking for that freaking, peeling off the back, because that was the exact puzzle that I was thinking about when you said Monkey Island, peeling that off. It was so annoying.
Do you ever remember, with the Nintendo games, if you were stuck in Zelda, that you'd have to ring up Nintendo Direct, the helpline, Nintendo helpline? And I remember my friend, his parents went absolutely mental because he spent 50 quid on Nintendo calls, because he was like, oh yeah, I'm stuck in Jabu Jabu's belly in Zelda. I need to know how to get out. It's his parents went mad.
It must have been awesome to work there.
I had no idea that you could call them for tips, Mike. That would have saved me so much time. Yeah, I remember the support number, and it's having the clause, which is it's 40p a minute or whatever on the back.
It was so expensive. It was so expensive. But we digress.
What did
let's find out what Nathie's been up to this week.
Yes. So first of all, I received my award.
Oh, congrats!
From the VR Expo as the most immersive VR YouTuber of this year. I don't really exactly know what that means, but I do appreciate the award. VR is very immersive. I mean, we are all immersive YouTubers, right? So that's just some side info here. I just wanted to share it because it is awesome to receive an award. I played Super Mario in VR. We had Nimso on the show a while back, he's the guy, he's a developer who works on all kinds of locomotion options, and he's trying to reinvent that and trying all kinds of new stuff. So he recently updated the Super Mario Bros. Demo. You can now use your hands. So you have Mario has gloves, and you can see a little bit of your hands. He updated the menu. You can now play it with a Vive or a Rift, and you can just walk around. So you physically move, and that's the way you walk in the game, and you don't really need to walk around. You just stay on the spot, you jog, and then you start moving, and when you do this woohoo, then you also jump. So it's a really, really cool way of experiencing, let's say, Super Mario in VR. And you can jump on the Goombas. You can even grab coins. You can also smash blocks. So if you jump above a block, you can also smash it. So it's very nice. With motion controllers, it's so much better, because the first time I played it, I had to play it with a Rift. Now a Rift is fine. I think that playing it with a Rift is even better than with the Vive, because you use the thumbsticks a lot in this demo. But being able to use your hands feels so much better.
What version of Mario is it? Is it Mario 64 converted, or is it just his own build?
It looks like the first level of one of the newer Super Mario Bros. Games. I think it's from the. I think it's like that Nintendo Wii kind of era, so one of the newer ones. But yes, he's using all of the assets that Nintendo used as well. Now that can be tricky, but in the end he used a disclaimer, so let's hope that they will just keep it up. I don't think Nintendo is going to take it down. Instead, they should just develop something themselves before they take it down. What about that?
Yeah. By the way, Nathie, your brother is in the chat, and he's saying that you should be careful that you don't melt because the sun is so bright.
Oh, that roast! Wow, roasted from his own manager in chat. Wow.
Well, thanks for the tip. I appreciate that.
Cheers, David. Thanks for your input, mate. Nice one.
Finally chatting, and this is the first thing we hear from him. Well done.
Yeah, but like talking about like Nimsoni's Mario thing, his locomotion's called Walko motion, right? That's kind of like his little trademark of it. And yeah, like you say, it looks really nice, really colorful and vibrant. And he was also working on some Mario Odyssey VR type stuff as well. So I'm interested to see what comes out of Nimsoni in the near future. But he's developed some really cool things. If you haven't seen it already, definitely go and check out the Sonic the Hedgehog one that he made, where you can actually run like Sonic and then turn into a ball and spin. And yeah, that is crazy. Like, it's a bit intense if you're new to VR. So just disclaimer there. Can cause a little bit of motion sickness, but if you're a bit of a veteran, then you should be absolutely fine. Yeah.
It's all free, by the way, so if you want to check it out, you can. So yeah, like I'm not sure if some of you can like drop his website into the chat, and then you guys can just check it out yourselves. It's very, very cool.
Oh, look it up.
Yeah, just look for
website called?
So Nimsoni, so it's Nimson NY basically.
HGO.
I was about to ask you, Mike, pronunciation-wise, have we been getting it wrong?
Nimsoni?
Well, I call him Nimzo, but it's kind of like, I think it's like a Nimsoni, like that.
Right.
But whatever, we can
Nimzo NY.
Did we spend a whole podcast with this guy, like mispronouncing his name? Nimzo, if you're watching, tell us.
He didn't correct us. He was just happy to be here.
He's the kind of in his energy, man.
He was so fun.
Awesome, guest on the podcast. His level of like excitement was great.
It was off the charts.
It was over 9,000.
So this week I also played Planet of the Apes, but we're going to talk about that more later on. So the only thing I really want to talk about is the fact that I cut my headset cable as an April Fool's joke.
Oh, Jesus.
I thought this was going to be a great idea, and so it was like April Fool's. I was like, I've got to put like an April Fool's video out. It'd be really fun. So I was like, how to make your headset wireless. So basically, I rigged up my Rift with a spare USB cable, and then just like did the video like I would do it, like a walkthrough guide of like how to set something up normally in my own sort of style. And then I just went and just cut the cable and said, yeah, this is how you do it wireless, and used a zip tie, and so this is how it looks really nice. And even sort of did like a mock playthrough of like a dark game. And I was saying that it was called like the Unlit Canyon and like Into Darkness were the games that I was playing. And it was just, the whole thing was just like, it was tongue-in-cheek, complete joke, obviously. But some people just didn't take it as a joke, and people were taking it so seriously to the point that I had a couple of emails saying that people had to actually cut their cables. And this was the thing, like, although I can't be for sure whether they were just joking me around, like trolling me back, I took it serious enough to sort of take the video down. So I re-uploaded it and explained the whole thing. But it was such a fun video to make. It's such a shame that people didn't really get it so much. But certainly the people from sort of our side of the pond, they kind of get that kind of humor, right?
Humor. You know, well, that's what I was going to say, Mike. I know we talked about that to the side, but it's that thing that having lived 15 years over there, 17, 18 now, years over this side, one of the things that I mentioned to you is like that dry humor. Like if you're in the States and you make that kind of a joke, you're meant to insinuate it like through your voice, and it's really funny because like a large portion of Americans, I'd say, when they hear like Monty Python or something like that, they just don't get it. It's like, well, this isn't funny. He's just fucking lying. He's not. And it's really funny to see those cultural differences come through in April Fools. Like I loved your video. I thought it was wonderfully done.
It's like sarcasm, right? It's like Brits are really, really sarcastic, and really edgy when it comes to sarcasm. But yeah, it's kind of lost sometimes on people from the States. But it was a really fun video to make, and I'm glad I could re-upload it, and it's still going to stay there forever now. But just don't cut your headset cables, people. It was just a joke.
At least now you've got a title in case you ever go into the adult film industry, Mike. Your first film can be 4.1 inches.
4.1 inches. It was funny because like no one really picked up on that because like 4.1 was for like April 1st.
I didn't.
But yeah, it's a shame. No one really got that. But it was a fun video to make anyway. So that's what I've kind of been up to this week. But let's kick it off with some news. And Zim, you've got some updates to talk about in terms of like a humble bundle for some racing games, right? Because you're obviously our resident racing pro. So go for it, dude. We'd love to know what you've got to say.
Sure. So Humble Bundle at the moment, the Humble Store, some of you might know of. Every so often they do sales that are thematic. So they've got their They're racing. I can't remember the name of it fucking now, but they've got a racing discount, like a mass discount across a couple of different titles that are really quite good. So my favorite is Assetto Corsa. That's on sale for about £9. So it'll be somewhere around $10, and that's very good. But all the DLC is discounted as well. So if you literally went to town and bought the base game and all the DLC, you probably wouldn't even break 20 quid. Maybe 25. There's also Project Cars 2, which is its biggest competitor, which is also a very solid racing game, also VR compatible. So that's another one that's there. And also Dirt Rally. And Dirt Rally is a game that is available on, I know it was recently featured in a Sony sale on their store. So this is now the PC players getting the advantage to jump onto Dirt Rally in case you missed the Steam sale, which was recent. So for about, I think it was £6 or £7, you can get Dirt Rally. That game's amazing. It's very good. The only thing I'd say caveat wise is stay looking forward when you're VRing, because if you look behind you, there's no car. That's a bit of a fun. That's a bit of a fun thing. But the game's amazing. Like Wales, if anyone likes rally games, Wales tracks in that I've never had a better experience. And I like to talk about tactile. So whether you've got like an M2 sub pack or a tactile transducer for your chair, your seat, or whatever, it works incredibly well with Dirt Rally. Probably the best that I have in any racing title.
Would you say that you need a racing wheel for these games, or can you just play it with a controller?
No, so Dirt Rally is something that you can definitely enjoy with a controller. Assetto, I wouldn't say you can race and win in a competitive environment, but I suppose that's the thing I'll just mention as well for anyone who does pick up the games and wants to go have a play. If you've got a, some people actually play. We run a Sunday every fortnight event for Assetto Corsa players, and we just jump through a bunch of servers together and talk on Discord, and it's a great laugh. And some people are actually even playing on keyboard. Would you believe it? So, and
wow. They're
fine, and they have a blast and all that. So I'd say if you have an Xbox controller, you're grand. And then, of course, it's a gateway drug, and you might end up wanting a wheel.
Yeah.
So, which are pricey.
I want to see like if you start to like racing games more, then I would buy a steering wheel, you know.
Exactly.
And then you can upgrade. You can always upgrade later on. You know, you can always buy the game first. Never hurts. So. Especially now with the Humble Bundle, so.
Yeah. I want to see someone win a race using a Dance Dance Revolution controller.
there are videos on the internet where people play games like CSGO with a steering wheel or the other way around, where it's like, what the heck are you doing? So, yeah, technically you could, I guess.
Some guy actually finished Dark Souls playing it with a Dance Dance Revolution Mac controller, and that is like, that's just incredible. What a guy.
That's
what
nice.
a guy.
That's insane.
But yeah, totally. If you're into racing games, that obviously is a great bundle to pick up, and you can join in. Zim, go for it, Rowdy. What's up, man?
Can I say something real quick? Because I can't hear Mike anymore, so I'm gonna have to
There's
restart
something wrong with,
the audio
with
from
Rowdy's mic, I think.
Just so you guys know.
Go ahead.
So yeah, talking about you're hosting these public events, right?
Yeah. So we
racing events.
It's kind of crazy. I like hardcore stuff in general. So we have 42 servers. Actually, I have a thing printed out here. So we have like 42 different servers that go through all the base tracks in the game and some mod tracks, which just means you download and you pop it into the tracks folder. And it's hardcore because it's 100% damage, mixed weather. So sometimes it's like pissing rain and all that kind of stuff, and also cold tires, which means the tires aren't warmed up, so your car is a little bit more slippery. But then it's just all of us on a track, and we just try to do. It's usually 10 minutes qualifying, and then we do 3 laps, and whoever takes it takes it. And sometimes we do rally, sometimes we do like GT style. There's all different types of racing we do. We just hop between stuff and have it fun. So for 4 hours on a Sunday every 2 weeks.
Nice. How many players can you have in a game?
It's restricted by the map. So however many race slots are on the particular map we're playing. So when we start off, we start on the lower number ones, like 2 or 5 or 8 or whatever. But generally 24 is the max for the majority of our servers.
Yeah. That sounds decent though. That sounds like a right laugh. Awesome. It kind of makes me think of like the race scene at the beginning of Ready Player One. Everyone on the grid, sort of like in their own cars, getting ready to fly.
No, that totally fired my cylinders when I saw that in the film. I was like, okay, I want to race that. That looks like a really good race.
I just want to go backwards really fast.
Yeah, yeah. Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal,
So, talking about things that fire our cylinders, we're going to talk about Beat Saber, as this has just been announced from the developers called Hyperbolic Magnetism. That is the most epic name for a development
that's a
studio.
nice name. I like that.
So they're actually a Czech Republic studio, and yesterday they announced the release date. Thankfully, we finally know when this is coming. It's going to be coming to the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift on May 1st. So make sure you put that in your diary. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know what Beat Saber is, well, it's a unique VR rhythm game where your goal is to slash the beats, which are sort of represented by these little cubes that come down a track towards you. And you've got these awesome looking lightsabers, a red one and a blue one, and basically you use the corresponding lightsaber to hit the beat in time with the music in the right direction. So there's a few elements there. It looks very, very simple and very basic, but obviously, like most things great that are sort of simple and basic, it's got this kind of real sort of mastery to it, where if you want to look like a total badass, which you do in this video we're probably showing you right now, you're going to have to be pretty good at this game, because this is like on hard mode, I'd imagine. But it kind of reminds me of like if Guitar Hero and Fruit Ninja had a little cute, beautiful VR baby. That's what this game would be. So I'm pretty excited about this one.
This is exactly a game that I want to play with a pair of Steam VR knuckles, because then I will never lose them, you know? Because I see this video and it's like they just turn it around, and it's like, how can you even hold it like that? But if it's like on your hand, then you don't really need to. That would be nice, but it looks like an Audio Shield 2.0 kind of game.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All the music apparently is composed to perfectly fit these sort of handcrafted levels, and the team's goal. Nice. Yeah, definitely. The goal from the beginning from the team was to make sure they make it a game that sort of get people dancing, get people excited, having a great time, and sort of really sort of throwing themselves into cutting these cubes and avoiding the obstacles and really having a great time. And I really think they've nailed it. Like, these videos of the gameplay have been going viral, on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, and on YouTube as well. And the music that they've chosen for the game as well has been such a great fit so far. Like, when you hit a cube, it makes that such a satisfying beat noise that you really sort of feel like you're part of the music as it's going. A bit like what Thumper did, really. You really sort of does well as to immerse you and get you in the zone. Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin the video for all of you guys. I just noticed something. Okay.
Go on.
When the girl puts the headset on at the beginning, the right ear cup is off. It's out. And she leaves it out for the duration of her run. It is.
Okay.
We have been lied to.
Why? Fake news.
Triggered. No. But I think.
So what difference does that make?
Yeah.
What difference does that make? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's funny because her left cup's on, the right one's off.
What an anticlimactic moment! I'm waiting for him to tell me a secret I don't know.
Someone out there will understand me.
I would imagine it's because everyone behind her in the studio is just losing their minds because they've got it pumped out of like massive speakers. It's just like a massive like crazy house party behind her as she's going nuts.
But that's what I think anyway. With the dual audio strap, and this is I don't know who designed it this way, but it's totally more comfortable with you if you got 4 or 5 people in a room with you to have it in the outward position than on your ears, because you can hear them perfectly and still hear the game perfectly. And you look like a feckin' dog with the dual audio strap like kicked out to the side.
It's funny though, like if you watch my videos, like my earphones are always behind my ears. I never wear them on my ears because I like to hear myself as well. Because if you, let's say, I'm not sure if they were talking here, but if you play with people, you also want to hear yourself. So if you have one on your ear and one behind you, then it's always very nice like to have that as a combination. So I do get it. But is it like completely gone, or is it just behind her ear because putting it like off?
No, it's just out like that. It's just it's just out to the side. Yeah. But no, sorry, I just saw it. I was like, I've unlocked the secret. I know it was not a big thing.
There was no
but I mean, I don't know. Someone said something on Reddit that stuck with me since I first saw the first trailer of Beat Saber, and that was, if you imagined her doing this with a pair of sticks and not lightsabers, isn't it like a lot less exciting? Like even if they were just ninja swords. Sorry, Karen will kill me for saying that. In fact, what's the real term for a ninja
Katanas?
sword? Katana. Shit.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about this game though. Like the combination of the music and the bright, colorful visuals, and the fact that most of the videos showing it off have been this like mixed recorded mixed reality sort of recorded footage, just makes it look a really great way of showing off VR. Like even someone that doesn't know necessarily VR, they see this and they go, I understand exactly what that means. Like I understand exactly what she's looking at. I understand exactly what she's doing. And that's why I think it's such a great way to show off what VR is capable of.
It's basically a very simple mechanic, but if it's done well, then it can bring a lot of people to the platform. Yeah?
Well, exactly. Like Guitar Hero, did insanely well. Same with like Rock Band. People love those kind of rhythm beat games, and I think they've just really nailed it with the visuals and the art design and the mechanics and the music as well. Like everything has just come together so nicely to create something that I think, I for one am really excited about.
I'm almost the dissenting opinion, but I want to just. Sorry, Rowdy, go ahead.
And people in the chat seem to be very excited about it as well.
Yeah.
It looks good, but I'm just wondering track-wise. Like I've played basically every rhythm game that there is because I love that stuff with a sub pack. It's great, and I am looking forward to playing this. But I'm nervous about how many tracks they have, and the fact that, as far as I'm aware so far, you can't play with your own music. It doesn't have a dynamic generation. These are just fixed, locked tracks. So,
but to be honest, like having played games that do it from your own tracks, it never works very well. No, you're always better off, in my opinion, with a curated track list that is perfectly synced with the beats. Yeah.
Plus, this one is like a next level rhythm game, because in the end you slice through a block, and that takes like a few seconds, you know what I mean? And usually you had like a bubble or something and then it was gone. This is like more than only just hitting something. It's also about you just cutting through the beat, you know? So I don't think that's gonna like just, it's not going to be
the only issue
match up with that.
What I mean with that, so I absolutely take your point. I think that's valid. They're not gonna have 40 tracks with this though. Right.
So they haven't actually said how many tracks they're going to have on release yet, but they've probably shown off maybe 2 or 3
that's right.
In YouTube videos, and they've been like pretty decent tracks.
Oh, great! They've all been very hopping. Like I loved them.
They could, for example, make like a track editor or something, so that people can make their own tracks still to the beats.
I hope something like that.
I think that will still be possible to do that.
Yeah,
because then you can still fine tune it yourself and download packs and.
But I think come the 1st of May, I think there's going to be everyone is going to be jumping on this video. There's going to be YouTube content creators going nuts for this one, I think. But if you're interested, the mixed reality video that we're showing right now was created by a company called Liv, L-I-V. They've partnered up with Beat Saber to show off how cool it looks in mixed reality sort of view. And the thing is, like, mixed reality was a real big thing. Like, Sweeviver and Tribal Instincts, they were making some really great mixed reality videos back in the day. That seemed to have like died down a lot now. Like, no one really seems to be making mixed reality content anymore, and that's a real shame, because when you nail it and it looks as good as this, it's such a great way to show off your footage. If you're interested in sort of making your footage look like this, just check out the Liv tool, which is available on Steam. You can download it for free, and they've got a really active Discord where you can sort of talk to the developers, and they'll tell you how to get it set up perfectly so you can capture something as good as this. But obviously you're going to need a green screen, a decent one, some good lighting, a webcam, and a little bit of patience as well, because it takes a little while to get set up, even though the tools do make it simple. But yeah.
I think that I would love to try this, like, mixed reality wise. What would be even funnier is, like, let's say I fly Rowdy over to my place, and he's gonna jump over the blocks next to me. So I'm going to hit them, and he's just gonna like ninja jump over all the blocks in the meanwhile, like having mixed reality. Like, and then Mike in the corner, like with his head, like, hey, like hidden secrets. And like, I've never seen actually like a mixed reality setup with like more people in one scene.
Yeah, they have, like, originally with how is it called, that contraption game?
One of Fantastic Contraption.
Yeah, exactly. They've been doing a lot of work with mixed reality, and even they built an entire scene in mixed reality with the couch.
With the couch.
Could, like, yeah,
they were the first ones really like doing that. Yeah, true.
But what with multiple people.
But Mike's right. I mean, I haven't thought about it for ages, but mixed reality content is barely out there at the moment.
Too much effort.
Honestly, when they announced it and when they showed it off as well, it's like, okay, this might be like the next level way of how people want to watch VR. But apparently, it seems more like an extra fun bonus that you want to add to videos you make sometimes.
Well,
but this one,
like this.
Sorry.
Yeah, it depends as well, because if you look at, like, for example, Job Simulator, what they did with that, they even introduced like dynamic lighting into the mixed reality scene. And if you can bring stuff like that to like the platform, I think that would be awesome. But I think the main problem with mixed reality is that at the moment it's too static. You have just one camera, it takes a lot of time to set that up. So you record that, and then you maybe record another scene with another static camera. But it's like it's a lot of effort to get like some footage then.
So, like, yeah, you're right in that it does take a bit of effort, but the Live tool does make it simpler. Like, I'll give it that. Like, it does make it simpler, but you do need to spend a bit of time fine-tuning it. But you can actually have a dynamic camera with Live as well. So, say if you've got like a Vive tracker, you can put that on a camera and have a moving camera then. But obviously, you need then a second person to operate that camera.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what Rowdy is talking about, like a virtual camera that you can time. It's like, okay, you move from that side to that side, and you can time everything, and it's more like alive or more. Playful.
Yeah, of course. The production time and effort is way higher, but I think if you execute it well, like they have done in these videos, then you can come out with something that looks really, really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree.
So yeah, Beat Saber is expected, like I say, on the 1st of May. The estimated price at the moment is $19.99 in US dollars, $14.99 in British pounds. And yeah, you can check out Live, obviously the tools for mixed reality capture. They're for free and available on Steam right now. So let's move on to Skyrim VR. Oh, my days. So this came out on the 3rd of April, and I'd never played Skyrim before in my life, so I was never.
What?
I know, right? So
Lucky dude.
I'm not alone anymore. Zim, you're not the only one.
I know. I'm not the only one who got
also
played
here. How cute. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Go on a date,
so I was of course intrigued because there was so much hype around the game, right? But I have to say I was pleasantly surprised, because after all the other Bethesda launch titles just recently, Doom VFR, Fallout 4, you know, with all the performance issues that I had trying to play those games, I was like a bit worried about when Skyrim came out. But I'm really, really pleased to report that the game runs really, really well, actually, on the Rift. Obviously, I've been checking it out from other people's channels on the Vive as well, and they seem to be having a great time with it without any performance issues as well. And the thing is, what amazed me the most is that the game is obviously like 10 years old now. See you later, Nathie. It's 10 years old now, but still manages to sort of live up to the current sort of generation of VR titles. You know, some of the environments are really, really impressive. You know, the models, you know, look great. So yeah, I was really, really surprised. So I don't know if you guys have been checking out Skyrim VR as well, or have you sort of skipped on it because you've been playing it on the PlayStation already?
Well, yeah,
that's a little bit my problem. That happened to me. Like, I didn't actually record any Skyrim videos anymore because I've played already so much, both on PC and also on how's it called, on the PlayStation VR. But I haven't actually got into the PC version yet. Just didn't have time yet. There's been so many titles that have been coming out.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. So Nathie, I don't know what's going on with your camera, dude, but it's just saying connecting right now. So I don't know.
Oh, I can still see myself, but okay.
Okay. Can anyone else see Nathie?
No.
Or is he just connected?
He's a lovely, colorful
circle. Now, can you see me waving? No. Okay.
He's stuck in the metaverse, right? Yeah. So he's going to rejoin again. There we go. There he is.
Hey!
He's back again.
Welcome
I used one of my Skyrim magic spells. You know, I was like, I'm going to use my disappear trick now because this is my moment, because I haven't played it on PC yet, and I should be ashamed of that, of course. So like hiding was the best moment for me at that moment. But hey, anyway, seems totally legit. But I think that, you know, Skyrim on PC, because it's so old, it's performance-wise, it's not really a problem. So that's very nice. And then you can mod so much over it before it really starts to like weigh heavy on your PC, and that's amazing. So I didn't expect Skyrim to be like a big hitter on PC as well, because we saw the impact on like PlayStation VR, and I was like, yeah, of course it's on PC, it's also going to be popular, but not as much as the PlayStation VR, because they usually promote it way more than what they do on, you know, a PC. But in the end, if you see how many people are talking about this, how many people on Reddit and Steam VR, and like you see topics everywhere. Hey, how can we mod this? How can we do that? And everyone shares, and everyone is like very excited for it. So it's super nice. The only thing I'm waiting for is that multiplayer mod in VR.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. But like I said in last week's show, I think it was, I said that Bethesda said that they're not going to be supporting any mods, but it seems like the community have totally like.
No, day two they had mods already working. Yeah, and there's already lists up. But I found it really funny, like what Nathie said. Like out of the 3 subreddits which I frequent, so there's the Oculus one, the Vive one, and PSVR. It's like Skyrim, and well, I've found a lot of them looking at Wipeout. To be honest, there's like loads of Wipeout fans going crazy on that. But I didn't play it on PC. And for a reason, right? I think a lot of people have bought the game. The most I've heard someone buy it is this being their 5th purchase of the game at full price. And if you love Skyrim, then by all means, and if you haven't played it in VR, then just do it. I've said it before here, Skyrim on PSVR is still my favorite VR experience over the 600 games I've played. So it hands down, the ability for me is not about following the game, but it's like taking, for me it feels like going on a gamer vacation. Like you hop into the world and you just wander. And then whatever you wander upon, like the depth of the things that you just wander into, you can spend 2 hours down a dungeon. Like, and it almost feels like it's just like this happenstance that happened. It wasn't a designed experience. It wasn't triggered. You just happened upon it. How much content? I don't know how they QA'd the game. Like, it's so big. And Mike, you'll have only scratched the surface at this point. But like, what are your first impressions of the game? I'm really keen to hear.
So, hashtag spoilers, there is going to be a couple of spoilers mentioned here, but it's only within like the first 5 minutes of the game anyway, so don't worry. Okay. So the first scene where you sort of arrive and you're about to get executed and then the dragon turns up, I was just like, holy feck, this is awesome. And it felt like I was a bit like in an episode of Game of Thrones or something, with all that kind of chaos going on and having to escape and then finding a little buddy and then going into caves and slashing some spiders up. I really enjoyed it, but I think the thing for me is that I don't really enjoy those games normally. Do you know what I mean? Like I've never been like one to try it, the pancake version, as it were. So although I really appreciate what they've done here and they've executed it really well, the performance is great, and from what I played, it's very enjoyable. It's just not my kind of genre of a game. No. I'm more of a kind of a sci-fi fan. I don't really enjoy the fantasy stuff. But I really enjoy the fact that something like this exists, because there will be people out there that is going to absolutely love this and spend like 100+ hours in this sort of world.
To me, it sounds like we need to find a replacement for Mike, because I don't.
We're not allowed to have an opinion anymore.
Clearly, okay. Let's just take a vote in chat. If you want us to remove Mike, 1. If you want us to keep Mike, 6.
Go for it. No, but I think like compared to let's say if we compare Skyrim VR's launch on PC to the one of Fallout, like the impact Skyrim had was so much bigger than Fallout. But maybe that was also because of the performance issues. But like it's so good to have a game that just works. It performs right. I think a lot of people can play this with minimum spec, with maximum specs. I think this is a game that a lot of people can enjoy. Not only PC Master Race peeps. No, everyone can just jump in there, and I think that's very good. Plus, it's okay. Maybe they should have like lowered the price a bit, because it's still pretty expensive. Like after so many years, they don't drop the price. I think that's very strange, because almost every game, next to, let's say, GTA and maybe some others, the prices do drop after a while. But Skyrim seems to always, but I think it's worth the money. It's not like this is a next level experience. If you bought it for PC and you bought it for your PlayStation before VR was there, then yes, you had the same experience. But now you're in the game, okay? You're not looking on your pancake monitor. No, you're actually in the freaking game. So, and you can mod whatever you want. You can make this game like, you can be, let's say, Link. You can add like his shield or his sword. You can mod whatever you want. If you want to ride a piata instead of a horse, be my guest. You can do whatever you want.
I got to ask a question to Mike here. Well, firstly, Mike, you get to stay. It was unanimous. No one voted you off the island. Okay.
Thank you.
That's pretty good for the internet, honestly. Most internet polls I do, they vote you off like
good impressions.
So people like you, Mike.
Thanks. It's been nice knowing you guys.
But I was wondering, because something I see in that first like 10 minutes, I seem to see this, having done the same thing myself, people stumble upon the fact that you can loot bodies. And inevitably they stumble upon a young lady and end up stripping her down to her underwear. And
Right.
it's just funny seeing the reaction. It's like, oh my. That was funny.
Yeah, I have to say, like, the melee combat was a bit sort of disappointing because it felt a bit off. Like, you know, you were whacking people with a sword or an axe or whatever, and there was no real sort of feedback in terms of like haptic feedback. And because they need like maybe 2 or 3 hits, maybe 4 to kill them, you just kind of just felt like you were just kind of waving in midair. Whereas the bow and arrow actually felt way better, and casting spells actually felt way better as well.
But then,
No haptic feedback on the strike.
The shield is pretty cool.
I don't think so. I don't recall there being any.
Because on the Move controllers on PSVR, that's the #1 reason why actually I didn't. People are going to find this very odd, especially because a year ago I would have shot me for saying this. But on the Move controllers, the feedback and the control design, which is basically hold down a big button and move forward, and if you want to go backwards, you just turn that around and you're running backwards. But that like works so well. And it was really surprising because after having used the Move controllers in a number of things and then felt kind of restricted by it, I was so impressed when this came out, and it was just like a simple design and it worked so well. And then it was me begging for that motion control support in other games. So I actually almost don't want to try the PC version to kind of not like the control support they've got there and think about, oh God, all these people are exposed to this with a slightly less good version.
I did not like the PlayStation VR Move controllers in the beginning of Skyrim because I found it took me maybe an hour before I got like the controls right. Yeah. Especially in the menus and the selecting, just because I don't have a thumbstick.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like it. I don't think it's optimal. I think there's better ways of doing it. I'm not saying the PC version is optimal either. I do like, Mike, though, the when you have a shield and a sword in there, like the blocking and the stabbing. I think that is pretty cool.
I also think that if you go through the menu in Skyrim, you can, I'm not sure if it's the same on PC, but you can just swipe, you know? I think that's a very nice way of going through the menu.
So
but as Rowdy said, like Skyrim needs so many buttons. Normally you were playing it with a keyboard, and now you have to put all those keys inside a controller. So it like, I think this game is maybe sometimes a little slow, and you need to take your time to find like the right, but after a while you're like totally into the game. And then also for the people that played Skyrim and almost finished it or finished it, there's like one mission that is pretty fun, and there's no spoiler like in there. You have to like infiltrate into a building, so it's kind of like being James Bond and go inside, and you're like dressing up as someone. But it's really fun to just sneak around in VR, and then just no, it's not a spoiler, but it's just fun. And then you can just eat bread and stuff while people are not watching. It's like, are they looking? And it's like healing up a bit. So it's like those Smeagol missions where you really need to like ninja around is always really fun. I mean, messing around with Skyrim in the first place is always fun, man. Like, I got chased by the people in the first village the first time because I killed one of their chickens. I was like, I can just do that, right? And then even the kids were chasing me. I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
By the way, Mike, did you try magic in the game, like fire spells and stuff like that?
No. Although I saw some of that from other videos, and it did look really impressive. It did look fun.
That's so cool to do that in virtual reality. Just like have like the fire, like
it feels so good
like that. And also because people have been saying in the chat as well, like Mike should still like try to get his first dragon shout. You should still try getting that because
I gotta defend though that corner.
The bit that put me off, like, is just standing there and listen to someone talk for like 5 minutes.
I
get it. But I've got like what everyone has, ADHD, attention deficit disorder now, and I just can't, concentrate.
Like dialogue-wise, it can be very slow, but if you want to, you can also skip it. But if you really want to get into the story, you of course want to listen to everything.
But it's also indicative of where we are with VR, though. I mean, like, so Mike's kind of saying, like, this game isn't really for me. Tried it, and not so my thing. I think it's really nice now that actually we have these different channels. Like, we didn't have this. Maybe we started to have it in 2017, but in the years prior, you just didn't have enough content in each of the kind of streams to satisfy your appetite. And it was kind of like you were starving and you're like, I'll take anything that's good in VR. I'll just take it and I'll eat that and I'll be happy. But now we're starting to get picky, which is really great. We're like falling back into almost like, you know, if we were playing on console or on PC, I have a need and I have a desire for this thing.
If you take like a year ago and Skyrim would come out and you would say, I haven't tried it yet, like that would be like, what? Like, but that's like the only game you should play in virtual reality, you know? Well, now like there's so many things that are coming out. There's so many things that you can try and taste from that can happen that you haven't tried Skyrim VR out yet, even though it's now on all platforms in VR.
It's funny because if I was going to be a betting man, you know, like 6 months ago, I would have bet on Doom VFR being the best title out of the three, right?
I think we all did.
It just turned out that, in fact, I still think this now, that Skyrim is the better game out of the three of them. It's just because it's not my taste. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate the fact that it is an excellent game.
Wait. So the thing is, let's say if they made Doom VFR just like Skyrim in a way where the mechanics are kind of like parted in, maybe it was even a better game in the end than having actually them trying something new that they don't have experience with yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Skyrim doesn't do anything new VR-wise. It just works, and people know how it works. And
I still miss the interaction.
They tried something new there, and
with the hand interaction.
Yeah, I still miss that I can't like pick something up that is like when I go to something I need to press a button. I still miss that.
Yeah. So before we move on, that's what Mike usually says. I'm cheating here. But Tom says those of you that also have a Windows mixed reality headset should give it a try, because it's the first game that takes advantage over the wire controllers using both the sticks and the pads. So
that's interesting. That's something that you've mentioned before as well, Nathie, right? That you like the fact that you've got both. Yeah. That is interesting.
There was another question in chat to your comment earlier, Nathie, which related to the Knuckles controllers and whether or not we have any info on when they're coming out. I think we don't.
No,
we don't.
No news yet.
Unfortunately.
The knuckle controls are prototypes, so for development reasons, but they are not a consumer product yet. So
and before I start off a crazy war again, like I did last time, our guess, right, unanimously, was that it's going to kind of be bundled with some Valve game that maybe.
Okay, let's not go there. No, stop. No. Okay, that's enough.
Okay, but yeah, so going back to Skyrim, if you want to pick it up, you can pick it up right now on Steam. It's $59.99 in US dollars, $39.99 in British pounds.
No Oculus Home? What?
No. Steam VR only. But obviously, it works on the Rift.
And you can
works
play
on the Rift. Oh yeah, of course, PSVR as well. And like our friend said there, you can play it on Windows Mixed Reality headset as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So let's move on then to Crisis on the Planet of the Apes. This also came out on the same day as Skyrim. So why you would do that, I have no idea. It's like literally suicide as a VR title to come up against Skyrim, I think. But anyway, you know, I think it actually probably sold quite well because a lot of people were talking about it. A lot of people were playing it. But it was available on the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and PSVR. The game itself takes place 5 years after the outbreak of simian flu, which kind of wiped out half of humanity, basically, which was kind of depicted in the Planet of the Apes movies, which if you haven't checked out, I'd recommend you check them out. They are really, really cool movies. And like Rowdy said at the beginning, you kind of play the whole game from the perspective of an ape who's been captured and held prisoner at this kind of scientific facility. The evil humans want to sort of like experiment on you so you can get a cure for this like simian flu that's killing everyone off. So your goal is to try and sort of break free with your little monkey friends and sort of get back to your sort of jungle to meet up with Caesar, obviously the leader of the apes, and sort of plan your future from there. But you know, I played through the game and I thought overall it was actually pretty average. There were some bits that I liked a bit, like what you mentioned at the beginning, Rowdy, like the climbing elements I thought were really well implemented. Also the interactions that you have with the other apes, like in those segments where you're sort of planning an escape when you have to beat your chest to distract a guard to come over, or you know, they're explaining what's going on and how to move forward. Those bits were fantastic, I thought, because they were clearly like motion captured. So an actor or someone had gone into a suit and, you know, acted out those scenes. So they looked really smooth and really impressive and believable. But it just, unfortunately, it just didn't happen enough. Like you felt like you was a solo on your own most of the time.
Because that's what I was thinking as well. Like, it's taking those kind of concepts in the beginning of the game, and you get like intrigued. You think like, oh, this is neat, like, and then like that's the first 20%, and then the 80% that comes after that doesn't have any of that anymore, and it's just a shooter, which I think is a bit of a shame, because I always expected more like sneaking and like trying to like hide in a facility, and you need to hide from the guard, or there's so many things that they could have done with that kind of concept, and like you need to call the other apes or whatever, because they could use that like multiple times where you beat your chest. And
exactly, they only used it once, right?
Yeah, they only used it once, which I found a bit strange.
I have to say, for me, let me know if this resounds for you, right? You're a director, right? And you're writing a script. And then all of a sudden somebody marches in and says, "Sorry, funding's been cut," and you go, "All right, feck that." And that's how this felt. It felt like the start was like pristine, really polished, great mechanics, cool motion system. I know it's point to point. I thought they could have made that a little bit more fluid. But the beginning and the feckin' hairy arms, I mean, who didn't stand there for like 3-4 minutes looking at your hairy arms and being like, yeah, this feckin' I'm an ape now.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. For them to have done what they did with this game, I was livid. It was one of my bigger rage streams that I've had in my time. So if you want to check the VOD out, it's still around for a week or something. But no, literally, I blew my top on this game, because I think that the producer, whoever they are, how they decided to do this, I hope that their funding got cut or whatever happened, because that's exactly how it felt. And that shooter rubbish all the way up to the end was, it felt like playing a game from the mid-90s. It's like this peanut shooting gallery thing with always 2 soldiers pop up that you got to cap, and then another 2 pop up, and then another 2. Oh, now one's behind you. That's not gameplay.
Not only that, but also the level design. It went like downhill from there. It was
boxes.
And I fell through them. I fell through. I mean, I didn't show that in the
you did,
because I had like a story I had to like maintain. But I fell. I think because every time I had to climb somewhere, like I had to climb like on to like a next floor. If I didn't pull myself onto the floor completely, I would just keep on falling through all of the floors.
That's true. Wait. So you had to pull yourself up.
So I haven't tried this game, and for me it was, first of all, like when they announced it, I was like, so why is this going to promote a movie that is going to come out? Is this just a random game? Since when are there Planet of the Apes games? Because I never played one. I played that one on the PlayStation, where the apes had like a red button on their heads, but that was like a total different thing. Okay. Like those little. But anyway.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. I don't.
The twirly hat, you mean?
Yeah, the white, like a white hat with like but. For me, it felt so random. Like, why is this coming out? Why do I need to care about this game in the first place? And then I looked at the trailer and I was like, I don't know if I. And then I watched your video where you have that restricted gameplay movement. It was like kind of same like Wilson's Heart, right? Where they point you into a certain direction, you need to, and then you just do the movements and done, and then you go to the next spot. But hearing that from you guys, where it's like, it starts off so nicely, it's so sad, because the developers can't really do much about it. Like they start off in a very like glorifying way, like very passionate, and you can see that in the game, and then it just goes down and down and down. Like, has any one of you also experienced the ending? Because if it goes down,
no, the ending is
the
ending is jaw-droppingly disappointing, because at that point you're like, okay, right, this is the first chapter, and then they roll the credits, and you're like, you're fucking kidding me. I went through all that shite to get to this ending, and you got nothing more for me? Feck you. Like, that's how I felt at the end of that. And the other thing I'd say is, do not, big message to the developers, do not put a shotgun in front of me, have motion controls so that if I happen to miss that, I don't get the shotgun the rest of the feckin' game. I didn't get a chance to shoot the shotgun. I love shotguns!
Yeah, I get it. It's teleported onto your shoulder, dude. Like, it would have been there.
It would have been here.
It would have been there the whole time.
No,
that's not true. Because I had the other gun on my back the entire time, but not the shotgun.
It's on both sides. Apparently, you can akimbo. I just saw this in the video.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, because there were moments I was out of bullets, and I was like, oh man, this sucks.
Now who's a noob, right? Yeah.
You're still a noob.
So would you guys recommend people playing this game, or is it because it doesn't sound very exciting?
Don't give
another
money.
thing is, Another thing is, it's nice that you mentioned that, Zim. This feels like funding is cut. In the beginning, you had different choices. You could say like, oh, I want to walk that way or I want to walk that way. You would get shot if you would walk one way. Okay, I know that. But I kind of had the impression that, you know, multiple options were going to be available later in the game to choose as well. That was not the case anymore. It's just very linear.
But it's funny, like Nathie said about like it's not a movie tie-in because the trilogy is already done, right?
Yeah,
the movie came out a year ago.
Like, yeah.
So
but, you know, let's say if this was like when this would have come out like before the movie, would have then was for a movie experience, for a movie game. Is it good enough
then they couldn't charge this much money for it.
It's a tenner, right? It's about £10. It's around that price point. But
yeah. But it's interesting because you said about the development funding being cut. That's kind of what it felt like. It's the same with Bravo Team we discussed last week, right? And that it seemed like it was a game that had real, like, passionate developers behind it. They had real promise. They were trying to do something different. And then it just becomes this generic game because the funding gets cut halfway through or the team gets cut in size and they have to rush something out. But, you're right. That's how it felt. Because it was like an hour and 20 minutes long, right? It took you to finish it?
Hour 20?
Yeah, it took me about an hour.
Probably
maybe
2 hours. I tend to be slow on these things.
I finished it under the hour though.
So
Rowdy was like, man, this is straight through.
So who developed this again? Because it almost sounds like the developers were able to buy a license of Planet of the Apes that must be freaking expensive. And then they make a game. Like, who even thought about like, hey, let's now make a Planet of the Apes game? Or were they just delayed and they had to bring it out after the movie came out?
So it was made by Foxnet VR. They're like a
official studio.
So I don't know. They don't have anything else on their website that shows what other VR games they've made in the past.
I still don't get why they wanted to bring this out now.
But also, it was a UK-based studio called Imaginati that developed it as well. I think they were involved in a lot of the motion capture stuff. So it was the two studios working together that brought it out.
I don't know.
Yeah, like you say, it was a strange timing for a game to come out, especially to go head-to-head with Skyrim.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
It had some nice elements with the climbing. The story could have been way, way better. It could have been more fleshed out. The shooting part of it, like you said, Zim, just to drop the whole standard of the game down. If it had a really small shooting section and then the guns were completely taken away, it would have been way more interesting.
But I'm absolutely the issue here for me is that, and I get more and more this way. I'm sick of developers flushing their potential down the toilet. You know, they make mechanisms that are interesting that could really help to boost VR and support it and get people excited for the next thing. Even if it's short content, that doesn't matter. But you can't drop off your quality like a feckin' cliff 20% into the game.
But I think the problem is, and I do understand it from a developer's point of view, is that like you've got a family to feed, right? You know, and if the funding's being cut.
I doubt funding was cut for this, though. I really doubt. I don't think that's what happened here. Somebody, what happened? They had a timeline, and they had to push the content by a certain date, and then they had to rush the last bit, and they didn't polish it and make it a complete experience. And you should, honestly, it's always a bad decision. Companies, please listen. It's always a bad decision to fix a date and say, I'm going to push it by that date. Why are the best developers out there, people like, you know, Rockstar and Valve, renowned for we'll release it when it's ready? Because that's what it takes to produce end-to-end consistently good content, and that's what we need.
But I think developers understand that, but it's investors that don't understand.
True.
That. That's the problem.
Still, and still, we don't know how many copies they sold of this game. It might be like successful for them, and it's like, you know, maybe we sold a bad game, people bought it anyway, and they played it through, and you know, you don't know that. But of course, you want to have your customers coming back, so people will be like, hey, okay, this is. Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like I don't feel like I want to play a Planet of the Ape game now because there's nothing really going on with that. It's not like something on its own. Let's say if you bring out a Star Wars game in VR, then it's always the right timing. But for something so
true.
Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, whatever.
I wish that was better because I would give these guys a second chance. I really would. I thought that first 20% was.
I feel sad, man. For the
I feel sad too. I'm upset
because you said like the start is very good. So if
I'll get the tissues out in a minute. I'm gonna well up. Right.
Like imagine, like you work like months and months on the the first part of the game, and it's really great, and everyone's super excited, and then you just see it going down as well while you are working on it. That must be horrible.
I'd like to clarify here for a second. People are claiming in chat that I'm not allowed to swear on the podcast, and that's why I use the word feck. I'm not going to be colorful now, but I will later. And trust me, swears are allowed on this podcast.
Yeah, that's true. They are.
What?
There's no filter. This isn't net
swear,
neutrality,
right?
people. Yeah.
I thought we could swear.
It's not flipping net neutrality, is it, Mike?
Yeah, you can do whatever the F you want to do. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Let's stop monkeying around. Let's move it on to this new information, which is about a TV show that's coming called Kiss Me First. A bit of a strange name for a TV show that's all about VR, I thought. But anyway, we'll roll with it. Brian Ellisey, who is the co-creator of Skins, is bringing us a VR TV show to our screens. It was initially to be shown on Channel 4 in the UK, but it will be coming to Netflix in the near future. So if you're not in the UK, don't worry. You will have access to it soon enough. The show follows a main character called Layla, who's living alone in London after her mother dies tragically, and she's kind of left alone. She doesn't really have many friends, many family. But she does have this affinity with people in a virtual world, which is called Azana, which is kind of like you sort of like log into it, a bit like the Oasis in Ready Player One. Oh. And while she's in Azana, her avatar called Shadowfax stumbles across like a secret area that she wasn't supposed to find, and finds like a group of people that are all hanging out in this kind of restricted area that she didn't even know existed, and it isn't sort of a mapped part of the world. And the group of individuals are called Red Pill. Now, it's kind of like a sort of renegade group of ragtag people that are a bit sort of loners, a bit sort of like outcast. But she finds,
that's a good point. I guess it is.
Reference, yeah. Finds sort of like a friendship there, but obviously things start taking a bit of a dark turn. It's kind of I would describe the whole show premise of what I've seen so far as a mix of Ready Player One meets Black Mirror. It's like that kind of virtual world and avatars and represented in CGI, but also with this like really dark undertone and twist to it.
Has it already aired? Is it already out?
Yeah, so the first episode aired last Monday. It's shown at 10 p.m. in the UK on Channel 4. Yeah. So the next episode, which is the second episode, will be on this Monday coming, again, 10 o'clock. And then it will eventually come to Netflix soon enough, like within the next couple of months.
First of all, this is great news, because this not only means that there's like something going on again on TV or Netflix that is about VR, but also it seems like it's mainstream enough for people to understand what this is and how it works, and that they can watch it and understand, how VR.
That people find it interesting, because otherwise they wouldn't make
So about it. So it's the same with, like, I've seen 2 commercials this week on the.
They're coming for you, Nathie.
Bro, the IOI is coming. No, but like there were like 2 commercials on TV this week in my country, in the Holland land, that were all about VR. So it seems like series and commercials and everything. And I've even saw the trailer of that new James Bond movie. I forgot the name. There's VR in there. So I'm like, whoa, it's everywhere.
Yeah, VR is normalizing now. And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
This is cool, Mike. I don't know. I don't watch
TV.
Cool
again, Roddy?
It's fucking cool.
It was with Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. Johnny something?
Johnny English.
Johnny English, yeah. If you haven't seen the trailer for Johnny English, the new movie, go check it out. Near the end, put him in a VR headset and something hilarious. Check it out.
Yeah. No, but this is so exciting. I can't wait to check this out. After Ready Player One, and now having this series going online in a total different style as well, because I think this is a total different like story. So yeah, I'm down.
It's funny because
people are asking as well if there's already a link to watch the show online.
Yeah, so if you're in the UK, you can just go onto the Channel 4 website and watch it on catch up. And obviously, if you're not in the UK, you're going to have to use some internet magic to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until it comes to Netflix. But it's funny because they had a really, really good marketing campaign about the show before it came out. And there wasn't really anything really known about the show. And then they just started tweeting pictures of this thing called Azana Band, because obviously the virtual world, the virtual world in the show is called Azana, and this Asana band is something you can wear around your neck, which simulates pleasure or pain, depending on what you're experiencing in the virtual world. But it's kind of like an outlawed device, like it's actually like illegal to use. But this kind of group of rebels that the main character finds all wear them. So.
Wait. So it simulates pleasure? How can you describe how that feels around your neck then? Because
Well, I don't have one, so I don't know. But,
just any words of any
is
words
it
of
to
pleasure.
massage your neck in a way, or?
So I don't know exactly how it works, but like you know, if you're feeling pain, it must sort of tap into some sort of like receptors or nerves in your neck to replicate that
but
kind
this
of
was
feeling.
the thing, right? Like I don't think it was. Was it
It was a total fake. Yeah, because you were really confused about it, and
well, I wanted it. I wanted the pain and pleasure.
Because it had warnings on there about like you should be careful about how you use it, and you know people have been hurt using the thing.
No. The best thing was the 73%. Do you remember that 73% don't like had side effects or whatever, or had permanent long-term side effects? And I was like, you kidding me?
Yeah, like what a marketing campaign.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was all a fake thing just to promote this show.
But this band, it reminds me a bit of that thing we talked about before, like that 360.
The 360 jumping.
It looks exactly the same. It's. Can you also stream with it?
Yeah.
Can that band give you pleasure?
So I watched the first episode and I thought it was pretty interesting premise for a show. You know, I liked the CGI bits. I thought that some of the references were a bit on the nose, like, you know, with the Matrix, the red pill thing, because they actually explained the reference in the show, and I didn't feel like they needed to explain it because people would just get it. You know, it's a bit like references in Ready Player One.
People like us, though, Mike, will get it, you know?
Yeah, as soon as it's mainstream, they need to explain everything.
You do know that the Matrix was released in '99 or something like that, right? It was out in like 2000, 2001. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that making me feel old.
That's like 17 years ago, Mike.
Yeah, all right.
You could be 17 and completely miss that film.
It feels like it was yesterday for me.
I know, I love that film too.
Honestly, like the red pill, it doesn't sound that sexy to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like a red pill. Like, what pill are you? You know?
Well, would you prefer a sexy blue pill?
I don't
take the blue pill. You'll forget everything that's happened, Nathies.
Dude, this still sounds better. You know, this still high five.
Yeah.
No better. It's gonna be Ready Player One versus this new thing. No, it's gonna be fanboys versus haters.
Viagra.
Oh, that's the blue pill now.
That's the blue pill. I got it as a
That's what
gift.
happened, Mike.
Blue pills for men.
Mike, after so many years, you finally know what the blue pill's all about. How does this feel? Like this reveal?
This is next level. Well, me and Zim are going to be meeting up next weekend, so Zim can tell me all about how it works. I'm intrigued.
Mike, there's 2 in there, 2 supplements.
Make sure nobody hears you guys when you guys say like, "Oh, we're going to be popping some pills," you know?
Yeah. Take a couple of pills, have a good time, chill out. That's what it's all about, right, Zim? Anyway,
I did not say anything about this being compared to Beat Saber. No, I'm not going to say it. Let's move on.
Yeah. So the headsets themselves that they use in to log into the Asana world, they kind of look like DK1 headsets with like these like bolted on antennas. They look really crap, in my opinion. Nowhere near as cool as like the Oasis headsets in Ready Player One. But you know.
It does not compute. So you got this band that is very high and fast.
Yeah.
And then you got this bulky thing on your head.
Yeah, exactly. And it looked like they got like antennas from like a Wi-Fi router and just bolted them onto the top. They look like little bug antennas. It looked lame. But other than that, the show itself was actually pretty interesting. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm definitely intrigued to find out what happens in the story next, but I won't spoil anything for you.
Loads of people are saying they're putting it on their watch list, Mike, and I would too. But I do kind of feel that there's been this like undercurrent of you trying to convince me to buy into Netflix because I'm an Amazon Prime dude. So thank you, Mike, for trying to make me spend more money.
What?
Just watch it on Channel 4. Catch up for free.
I'd have to pay for a TV license for that, wouldn't I?
Oh, well, you should.
That is true.
I don't watch TV.
Although there are also some good VPNs out there.
Hey,
magic of the internet, Rowdy. Magic of the internet. We don't talk about it.
But for the Netflix people out here, remember they hate us because they ain't us, you know. So
that's true. That's true. So we are going to wrap this week's show up. We're going to maybe take a couple of questions from you guys if you've got any questions in the chat while I wrap it up. We didn't talk about the Infinideck, but we have to be sort of on time this week.
Please skip that because it's going to be like a long story. That's nice to talk about.
We will definitely talk about it on next week's show because it is an interesting topic indeed. But just, chuck your questions in the chat while I just go over the times again. Yes. So obviously this is a weekly VR, AR, and MR talk show, live streamed every Saturday on Nathie's YouTube channel. Tune into the show live at 4 p.m. in Europe, 3 p.m. in the UK, 9 a.m. in Central US. If you missed the live stream, you can catch up with the re-upload, which I do every Sunday on my own channel, Virtual Reality Oasis, or check out the audio-only version, which is available on Google Play Music, iTunes, and on SoundCloud. And please leave us a review. We'd love that because that will really help us out. So let's go with some questions. 5 minutes of questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's go.
Ooh. Yeah. We got someone asking if it was possible to increase the field of view still in Skyrim, but I don't think that is the case because for virtual reality headsets, the field of view is pretty much fixed to the headset, right?
Yeah, that's right. You're stuck to 110 degrees of the headsets themselves. Same with the Vive Pro, same with the Vive, same with the Rift.
I mean, plus if you could, then your controllers would be too far away and they would not align with your hands anymore because like more field of view also means that you're like maybe further away from your, or not, I don't know. Like you can't increase it digitally,
plus,
right? I mean,
one
sounds kind of...
One thing, if you do that FOV, if you did that change, the scale would be off. So, this is one of the things that you would notice, especially if you're a VR veteran, the second you get into a game, the world scale and your relative size against objects is something that you'll notice. So you don't want it.
Yeah, that's true.
we got a good suggestion from Paradise Decay. If Mike comes back from the show next week with hair, we know that he took the blue pill.
Oh, we should say that.
Smile on my face, right?
Yeah. We should also say that, Mike. That Mike and I will be at Rezzed. So if you're in London, Rezzed is running. It's actually my favorite UK convention. I've been to it a few times, and it's something that I'd recommend not missing if you can still get tickets. They're Friday through Sunday, so catch us this week.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, if you're going to be at Rezzed in London and you want to meet up with us, then just follow us on Twitter because that's probably the best place to get hold of us.
Definitely.
We'd love to meet up with some fans, take some pictures, talk about VR generally, grab a beer maybe in the evening. That would be really, really cool, definitely. So if you're around, come say hi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's faster, European or African swallow?
I have no idea what that is.
That's a horrible question, I'm sure.
I'm confused.
Is anyone here getting the Pimax 8K? If so, do you know when you're getting it? I think there is no date yet for the back.
Still no date.
Consumer versions are being test versions are being sent out to a selected amount of reviewers, right?
Yeah.
That's the last news that we got. That they have selected a couple of reviewers. I don't know what criteria they use for that. And they have sent them out to people, only of course to people that actually purchased it.
Yeah,
which is kind of strange for a reviewer.
Anyone know?
Nicely to the previous question about like the field of view, because say if you played Skyrim with the Pimax, then it probably would be that wide field of view that offers, like 210 degrees field of view, this magical field of view that it offers.
Very good question.
It depends. They need to support the headset then. Huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like if they haven't tested with the headset.
Yeah,
it would be interesting to see how they work with that. Whether it is something.
I'm guessing it won't be that much of a change. I'm guessing it won't be that much of a change for them to implement that, but I think it will need to be implemented on a developer level rather than the Pimax needs to do that.
But the question is anyone getting a Pimax? Yes, I'm going to get a Pimax. I haven't bought one because I'm like, if they want to send me one and then they want me to check it out and tell everyone about it, if it's good or not, fine. But I don't feel like I want to pre-order one because because then people think like, oh, if Nathie pre-ordered one, then it's a fine headset. Like I want to wait until like it's actually out and then see what happens because I'm like on a 50-50 here. I just don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, and also we want to see the consumer version that they're going to be shipping out. And up to this date, we don't have any idea yet what that's going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
So Pimax, if you are watching, we would love to check it out.
If someone else, if we know someone who's getting a Pimax of the reviews, I think maybe Sui might be getting one.
He's getting two, isn't he?
No, but I mean of the review version.
Oh, the review
So
version.
people-
Right, early.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
he was
what
The
one of the first
review
pre-orders.
version. Like,
That-
that sounds so strange to me.
It is
like,
weird.
review version.
Yeah.
It sounds like, here, take this one. This one's been souped
Because
up
this is-
with the extra special
Well,
sauce.
that's how it sounds like to me.
It does
but
sound that way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
but
There's
we
another
could talk
question here.
for hours about Climax.
Before we
So just
before we
quickly
shut up-
before we wrap it up, last week's show I gave you sort of like a little riddle, like a rhyme from Megan Mason. She posted it. No one's come up with the answer yet. So if you're still intrigued about this riddle and rhyme, go and check out the end of last week's show where I say it. And if you do get it right, then I will give you a key to Brass Tactics. That's what I'll give you. So
Okay.
go and check out the riddle. And if you can solve it, and Megan confirms that you're right, then you'll get a key for Brass Tactics on the Oculus Rift from the Oculus Store.
Sophia
Okay.
here was asking, and I think we've answered this 2 podcasts ago. Do you have any news about the Ready Player One games? When did we cover that? Was that last session or the session before? Because I think it was the session before.
Yeah, so you can actually play them right now, but you need to have Viveport installed. So if you've got a
God.
Vive or a Rift, you can play it on both Rift and Vive using Viveport, but Viveport is garbage, quite frankly. So I would avoid it.
Or you can use Sensor to check out the environments of Ready Player One, and you don't need Viveport for that.
That's true. And also, Rise of the Gunters will be a standalone release that will be coming to Steam
Yes.
that won't include anything from Viveport. So
Very good.
I think that's coming soon.
Beware.
Okay, so we're going to wrap the show up. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We obviously love meeting up every Saturday to talk to you guys. Really, really appreciate all the feedback that you give us in the comments as well. Like I said, leave us a review on iTunes or SoundCloud. That will really help us out. And we'll see you, of course, in next week's show. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.